My favorite show in my early 20s was Friends. I think a lot of people were like me, and that was their favorite show. I would plan my entire week around Thursdays when the new episode of Friends would come out. I'd turn my phone off, I'd watch those episodes. Wouldn't, my favorite show in my 20s was Friends. I think that was the favorite show of a lot of people back then. I would plan my whole week around Thursday nights when the next episode of Friends would come out. My girlfriends and I'd talk about it. I'd even be on the phone with one or two of them sometimes when the episode would come on. It was just our thing. It was something that we just could not wait to do, and was watch Friends. I had the biggest crush on the character of Chandler Bing. I always just wanted a guy like that in my life. I was awkward. I was kind of goofy. I used comedy, to deal with pain. Just like he did. I envied their life. I wanted to live in a big city and live in an apartment across the hall from my best friends and just feel like I was never alone in life. I was always going to be somebody there. And when Chandler and Monica finally hooked up, I wanted that relationship. I wanted that kind of love. When I started dating and looking to get into a serious relationship, that was the relationship that I wanted. I wanted what they had. I know it wasn't reality. I know that wasn't the way life was going to be. But for a little while, I could just, be one of them, be one of the friends. Of course, having the crush on Chandler Bing, y'all know my favorite character had to be Mathew Perry. And when I found out that he was in movies, oh, I couldn't wait to watch them. The whole 9 yards, Fools Rush In. I was the first one lining up to go see that movie. Even now, 2025, Friends is still my go-to. It's my comfort show. It's my show that gives me the emotional support that I need when I'm having a bad day, when I'm needing to feel better about myself. Heck, when I need to fall asleep, I will put Friends on. I stream it over and over and over again. I even use many lines from their shows just as a joke. I can still hear the theme song playing in my head. I can still feel the love that they had for each other. We were on a break. Could I be wearing any more clothes? All those, they still stick in my head. Watching Friends now, I have a different idea, a different look when I see it. And that's when you can see the struggle that Mathew Perry was going through. You always knew something wasn't right. One season he'd be heavier set. The next season he'd be really skinny. Sometimes his face would be really thin. You could just tell that he was struggling with something. I always thought, it was just drugs. A little bit of drugs, a little bit of alcohol. You always hear about these Hollywood stories of cocaine and alcohol and parties. I just thought that's the way it was in Hollywood. I just thought everybody was doing it. But coming to find out that he was in deeper. He was in a lot further than we even thought. And I'm sure that now that I see a lot of it and I hear a lot of it, it was a struggle for everybody on the set. And they were so supportive of him and they loved him so much and they helped him through every time that he would fall off. And that was amazing. That wasn't just the show Friends, that was the friends of the show. I mean, they were each other's best friends, even on and off the set. And, that was something to be envious of too. A couple years ago, I got the book, the Mathew Perry, the book, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. It was a hard read. I mean, it was hard for me to feel like I was invading in his privacy, I guess. There was a lot of humor, because you would expect that from him. But there was a lot of sadness, a lot of things that you would have never thought. You think, oh, the guy's got money, he's got fame, he's got friends, he's got cars, he's got everything that we all wanted in life. But he always felt empty inside. He always felt like he was missing something inside. Something just wasn't there. And that's where the drugs and the alcohol and all of that came in. He was using the drugs, he was using the alcohol, he was using it all to cover his pain. And that's not something to be envious of. That's not Hollywood. That's someone with a real problem. And, you know, I recommend the book. Absolutely recommend the book. Please read the book. But be prepared. It is from him. It is him. It is him opening up and being very emotional. So please, you know, be ready when you do read it. Let's just say that when I heard the news that he had passed, I cried. I cried really hard and wondered why. Where was this support? What? I thought he was good. I thought he was in a good place. He did the interview with Diane Sawyer. He had the book out. I mean, I thought he was really, you know, getting his stuff together. You'd see him on the news. You'd see him on these shows. And he looked like he was taking care of himself. So I was shocked, probably just like everybody else in the world, that he had passed away. Sorry, my dog felt she needed to let herself out. When I saw the Mathew Perry documentary on Peacock, I had to watch it. I had to see. I wanted answers. I wanted to know what happened, because I thought he was good. I thought he was in a good place. I was looking forward to seeing him. I saw him in the Friends reunion. You know, he didn't look great like he had done, but we all age. We all, you know, get older and things don't stay in the same place. And you could tell he had a rough life. You can always kind of tell that he was getting over and he was recovering, and when he was being Chandler Bing, you know. So I had to watch the documentary. You have to watch the documentary. I'm not going to tell you what happens. I'm not going to tell you what the answers were or what happened, but it opened my eyes. It made me realize that, you know, you never know what people are going through. There's always an outside image. And what is it they say? Don't judge a book by its cover. So please watch the documentary. I don't know when it came out. It could have came out last year. It could have came out last month. I just found it. And I think that it will really open your eyes. So please just come back, comment, like, share. Tell me what you think, because I want to know what y'all think of this too. Because I love me some Chandler Bing.